really is nobody that is a gay trainer at this point that's openly, as open as I am at least, about things. So I feel that there is a need for that too, because
Mhm.
I know that for me, whenever I was going through trucking school, um, one of my biggest worries is you have to spend like 8 to 10 weeks with another driver, a driver trainer. And so
Mhm.
when you're going on the road with someone completely a stranger you don't know, and so I was like, I couldn't imagine. I could, I just was like, I
I
don't know if
couldn't
I
do
can do
that.
this.
I couldn't do it. Now, let's talk about security on the road for you and your boyfriend. I mean, your husband there. Um, Security. Do you guys ever feel like you're in danger with truckers think that they're macho and they're butch and all this kind of stuff. And do you do you ever feel in danger?
Um, there are times, there are times. Parking lots are really dark, and when you put a bunch of trucks, there may be lights and stuff in the lot, and you in the daytime, and you'll be like, oh no, that looks pretty good. But I will tell you that like at nighttime, when you get all those trucks in there, and they're really in a tight quarter area, and you have to walk between the trucks, there's multiple times that people get um, run over in the truck lots, and it does happen a lot. And it's just because they can't see you. There's a huge vehicle, and security wise for us is a little bit higher just because of what we haul, with us being pharmaceutical and the high value freight. Most of the times for the first 250 miles, we have escorts, like police escorts or armed escorts. So with us, it's a little different. Um,
Mm.
but there is times, yeah, I have thought about it, and especially when we went through COVID, when we had went through COVID, and when we had went through um, when the protests and George Floyd and all the different things that happened, and when drivers were driving out there, and I used to, we went to Minnesota multiple times, and we went through the protests and everything, and my thing about that was I did my safety was at risk, and I seen these videos on the on the news and all this stuff of truck drivers that were bombarded in their truck by people, and that was a little scary for me.
Mhm.
And and I was like, these people wouldn't even know that I'm on their side because they just see a truck driver and they don't think that they are. They would never even know that I would be out there with a picket sign, you know what I mean, helping them, but here they were beating someone up in their truck. So it raised a huge red flag. And but we are limited by the FMCSA and DOT what we can have in our truck. So depending if you run all states, you're not really allowed to have a firearm in your truck. You are
Mhm.
allowed to have different devices, maybe it be stun guns or whatever you do choose. So we do stay prepared, is what I'll say. Um,
I want to ask a couple of other things, just because to wrap it up, because I think that you've done a fantastic job. Tell us a little bit about the podcast.
okay, so the podcast for me it's for LGBTQ plus truck driver network, and we call it Big Gay Trucker. And it's really just about being open, honest, visible. I'm always bright colors, and that's just me. I have ripped jeans that I wear, and I get neon sneakers, and I always, that's just me of who I am. And when I was thinking about the podcast, I was like, I absolutely love Howard Stern, and I absolutely love Anna Nicole Smith and Dr. Ruth, the little old sex lady from back in,
Mhm.
and maybe some people don't know who that is, but anyway, if you don't, you need to go
I
look them
know
up.
who Dr.
But
Ruth is. I know who Dr. Ruth
but
Westheimer.
that was my vision. That was my vision for the show. We've had talks. We had a sex talk show. One was one of the episodes where we openly talked about our craziest positions, places we've done stuff, blah blah blah. And it was just fun, and it's the way life should be every day. And that's what the vision for the show is. It gives visibility to that driver behind the steering wheel, and
Mhm.
it lets you see a peek inside their life of who they are. So I we interview drivers, we interview company owners, we interview drag queens and people within, I try to stay up to date on as much of the topics as possible. And we openly talk about them, whether someone agrees or don't agree. And it's okay for you to disagree. I don't want everyone to agree with the things we are saying, because this is what makes us American and this is what makes us different. I don't feel that everyone's opinions do not have to like be the same. I want it to be different, and I want you to voice your opinion, because you may change exactly how I look at something. So, that's the point of the show.
That's amazing. I'm from Orlando, but I live in Toronto, right? And I'm going to buy a house in Florida, and I'm going to sit down and do absolutely nothing, but in about 5 years. But now I want to ask you this, because I really think that it's relevant, and she just put up a board there for me to ask this question. Now, has your truck ever been sprayed on, those slang words? And have your truck ever been deviled? Is that what they call it? Deviled or
vandalized?
Yeah, vandalized.
As far as the outside of the truck, so basically the organization that we basically produced 2 years ago, the XPO Pride truck. So we actually I was driving the very first XPO Pride truck, me and my husband, for a while. And we're getting ready to rewrap the truck we have now, because we got a new truck. And it does create some problems driving and being LGBTQ. Sometimes you do get people on the CB radio that say things. And I will say 9 times out of 10, it's just like being on the internet. They're basically keyboard warriors. They'll say something. But I literally have had people, I've met them and shook their hand, and I knew that they had said negative comments about me, but yet they, to my face, was very happy to meet me and smiling and whatever. So now we have had things happen. Yes, we have had things where people have not really so much spray painting the truck or anything like that, but we have had things where people have like brake lines or hoses, people have like cut, that type of stuff. Yes, we have had things like that happen before, but thankful enough, we really are not stopped very often. It's very hard to find me because I'm always moving. So, and we move every bit of 1,200 miles a day. So therefore it's really hard to find us or pinpoint where we're at most of the time. But there is some hate that's out there still, and it's always going to be alive. I know this. I wish it wasn't, but there's going to be people that always doesn't agree. But things do happen. We've had a couple things like on our truck that's happened. So,
okay.
And we knew
well, we won't elaborate too much on it. She wanted me to mention that because she felt that it was relevant, because you're part of the LGBT community. Now let's talk just for one. I have just a couple of more questions, and then I'm going to let you go. Now I want to talk about the convoy, the convoys that are happening around the country, like the blockades and all that stuff with the truckers'
convoys.
Yeah. Now you've heard about that, right?
Yeah, and well, there's a lot of different organizations that produce the convoys. So some of the convoys, you have. I'm really not affiliated with any of them, but I have a couple of friends that do the convoys. They've asked me to come and participate. I was very reluctant to do so, and the reason is because, like I told you, I for that time and period, I was driving a gay pride truck with big rainbows on the side of it and everything. So like,
would have been a target.
Yeah, I didn't feel that I would be that accepted amongst my peers, so to say, or the other drivers. Even though I know that organizations and they all invited me, and even though the people over the organization may be on the bandwagon, because right now, basically for me, I enjoy all the convoys, and I like some of the stuff that they're doing. I just sometimes don't. What happens with the convoys is they get a really bad rap because of a lot of pedestrians and a lot of people with their cars come, and then they come with guns and they come with it's not really the truckers. The truckers try to very peacefully protest with things, and they do the slow rolls and they do the convoys, and they do it for really good causes. And but what happens is when a lot of other people get involved, they are not so peaceful.
Mhm.
And so it kind of gives a bad image to the convoy that's happening.
Okay. Well, on that note, Mr. Bobby Coffee Loy, I want to thank you so much for being here today and being on the show. You are an amazing person, and you're very informed and you're very focused, and I love that. I don't meet too many people like that. And the fact that you started this Truckers Drivers Network and the Big Gay Truck Drivers Podcast, I think that's amazing. I mean, you don't find too many truckers that come out and say, well, I'm gay and I'm proud. You know,
Right.
most of them, like I said, always try to act like they're butch or on the down low or whatever it is. And, and the fact that you and your husband are on the road again together, and you're trying to, have this, do something positive for your community, and also show them that we work and live within their communities every day without any dramas or any issues, and meaning that we can work alongside them or work with them and just be ourselves and everybody get along. And this is a good thing. I mean, like you said, not everybody is going to get along because this is life. But as long as you and your husband are on the road again, a lot of other gay men and trans women or the LGBT community that's on the road as well can see there's a positive side to all of this, and that there's a support system such as yours, the podcast, the Big Gay Truckers Podcast, and the network that you set up to try to make people on the road feel like there's a community on the road that they can get information from or have resources, where to get things from, where their community is. And you've done a great job at that. And just from the little time I've talked to you, you're very informed and you're very up to date on a lot of things. And I respect that, because I think that you're doing something amazing that I would never even thought of a trucker being gay or nothing like that. I mean, because sometimes the people in our community, I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but you know what I mean. The ones that try to be butch and all these kind of things.
Yes.
But I just want to say thank you so much for being on the show today, Mr. Bobby Coffee Loy. Am I saying that right?
Yep, you are.
Okay, because I was thinking, if I say coffee, he's going to be like, that's not my name.
Yeah, it's Coffee Loy. So yeah, you're saying it right.
Now, what's your background with that name? Coffee Loy is...
Well, Coffee is my husband and Loy is mine. We took both of our names.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to understand it. So I just want to say thank you for being on the show today. And I want to say to my audience out there, it was great meeting Bobby Coffee Loy from the Big Gay Truckers Podcast here on my show today. He enlightened us a lot about on the road again, and brought up some old childhood memories about the CB and the horn and all that stuff, which I have great memories of. And the fact that there's this gay couple out on the road delivering amazing things to make sure that we stay connected. And the fact that he's driving this truck now that really symbolizes that the gay community is alive and well and on the road doing wonderful things for many different communities. And I take my wig off to you, Bobby. Congratulations on the podcast. I will be listening. I'm going to start listening. I would never listen to a truckers. Now that you told me there's a gay one.
Well, you need to come and be a guest on my podcast. That would be kind of fun. So
reach out to me and I will be more than happy to come on and chat with you. And to you and your lover, your husband, congratulations on making it work on the road. And to many of you out there that wants to be a trucker, listen to Bobby's podcast. Maybe he can give you some hints how to get into the business and how to survive being on the road, because it can be lonely. And I just want to say thank you so much, Bobby. And you have a great day. Take care of yourselves. And thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Good night.